Hi, this is Roman from Inner Strength. I want to thank all of you guys so much for all of your incredible feedback. I mean, it was really heartfelt. All the compliments, all the emails that we got about our last little video we sent out on how helpful it is, on how informative it was, as simple as it was. I'm really glad that it touched all of you. What I'd like to do is follow up with another short little cool video for you guys on the sun salutation B and how to modify the sun salutation B. Now, the model in this particular video is yours truly. Now, I'm a 200-pound guy. I'm 6 foot tall, 200 pounds. And when I first started doing yoga, I could barely touch my toes. In fact, I tell this story all the time. My first teacher, Baron Baptiste, actually would say to me, he'd be like, yeah, you're a pretty muscular guy. You can bench press a small truck, but Roman, you can't even touch your toes. And he was right, I couldn't. So the way that I learned to get through those initial sun salutations B was by going on my knees. It was kind of intuitive to me. No one really ever taught it. When I first started doing yoga, the very few men actually practiced yoga, and it was just me in a room filled with women, and all of them were dancers and gymnasts and just naturally flexible people going through the full vinyasa. I couldn't do it, so I had to find a way. I knew how important yoga was to me. So what I'll do in this short little video is I'll demonstrate for you guys how effective it is and how easy it is to move through the entire sun salutation B phase using your knees. And a note to some of the intermediate or advanced beginners that might be viewing this video: when you do it on your knees, it doesn't mean you're benefiting any less. You can use these variations when you start to fatigue, and rather than resting in child's pose, which by the way is always a great option, you can always put your knees down to do what we like to call scaling it down, so you can reduce the amount of intensity that you're expending and still make it through the flow. So for the raw beginner, someone who's just coming to the studio, perhaps you're a little overweight, or perhaps you're a little under flexible, and you need a little bit of help, this is going to work for you. And also, as I mentioned, the advanced beginner or the intermediate beginner, as you move through the sun salutations, this is typically where we build a lot of energy, and you may want to scale it down to be able to make it through the whole process. Okay, so we begin the sun salutation B in downward facing dog pose. So here in downward facing dog, what I'm doing is, if you notice here, I'm bending my knees a lot. By bending the knees, I have pretty tight hamstrings. And I'm also able to open them up, because when I bend the knees, I'm moving my hips up. I'm shaking them. I call it the happy dog, right? Just wagging your tail. And what I'm doing is I'm just trying to lengthen myself out. Now, by staying deep bent through your knees and high on the balls of your feet, you're also stretching the soles of the feet, the plantar fascia. I got to tell you, as a culture here in the West, our feet are really the culprit for most of the challenges all the way up the body: the ankles, the knees, the hips. In other cultures, in Africa, in India, in Asia, and so on, they're not wearing shoes. That you don't have those problems, and their feet are incredibly functioning. But here in the West, it's a different story. So by remaining high on the balls of my feet, I'm able to work that plantar fascia. Okay, so if you noticed, I walked to the front of the yoga mat. Even if the whole room is springing to the front of the yoga mat or jumping, you feel free to walk. It's totally okay. You can walk the entire time. You just have to make sure that you're listening to your body. So here's what we call halfway up. You take a breath, and then your forward fold. Just like in the last video I sent you, bending your knees is absolutely okay. By bending the knees, it releases the pull on my back. It gives me a really nice flexion in the spine. And then when we move from this, what's called flexion, or rounding of the back, into extension or chair pose, as you see as I bring my arms up above me, now I'm working into Utkatasana chair. Okay, now the knees, once again, they're bent, but they're not bent all the way down. Listen, guys, even if the teacher says, bend the knees all the way, You have full veto power. It's your yoga practice. It's your decision. And in an open level class, you want to know that there are going to be people, students around you, that are going to be going really deeply, and others who aren't going to be bending much at all. You just have to make sure you're working with what you need to work with. So here in chair pose, I'm back into the heels. I sink a little bit deeper. Another thing I want you to notice is bringing the arms back by the ears. So my entire spinal column is enlivening, all the muscles along my back. And whenever you enliven a muscle, invariably what happens is it begins to generate a little bit of heat. Okay, now from here I'm going to exhale and fold my body into a forward fold. Good. Once again, bending my knees deeply. Inhale to a flat back. Here's where I'll step to plank, place my knees on the earth again, lower down. Rather than coming into upward dog, I take my cobra right over hands and knees to downward facing dog. Now, what's specific and unique to the Sun Salutation B is chair pose, Utkatasana, and warrior number 1. Now, if you notice, I went ahead and I put my knee down to get that right foot all the way up, bringing the arms back like wings. Now, in every Sun Salutation B, my teachers and I always give us all a chance in the room to set up our pose. Okay, sweeping the arms high and then take it down. Now watch the way I put my knees down for the transition. Here's the cobra again, and over the knees and the hands. Now, the left foot steps. Okay, see how I did that? Left foot steps, my knees down, then I lift it, dial the back heel. Bringing the arms like wings now allows me to square my hips, to lengthen my spine, and to prepare myself for the warrior number 1. Yeah, and here we go. I root down through the heel, take the arms into the sky. Lifting up out of the hips, sinking, and then returning through the vinyasa. Knees down, lying completely down, cobra, and transition back to downward facing dog pose. Again, the knees are bending a lot. You can bend them the entire time and walk yourself up to meet your hands, your flat back, and your forward fold. Awesome. Okay. So there you have it. A short little cool video about the Sun Salutation B series. I'm so grateful to be able to put this together for you guys. So many of you are fairly new to the practice. Others have a little bit of practice under your belt, and it's always refreshing, it's always reinforcing to see that you can modify the pose. I mean, modifying sometimes is a dirty word, a bad word in the yoga industry, and I want to make sure that you fully embody the benefits of modifying the pose. Now look, if you want to learn more about your yoga practice, we're putting together a teacher training and personal development program, the 4 pillars. I'm sure you've heard about it. It's beginning in February, and we meet 8 weekends all the way until May. If you have any questions or at all, even if maybe this module isn't the module you're going to take and you just want to run some ideas about how you can take the teacher training at one time in the future, let me know. I'm also in the process of putting this entire teacher training in a format, in a module like this, where it'll be myself and my team offering you guys digital material that you can view, that you can source, you can reference in the convenience of your own home when you have the free time at a fraction of the cost of a live training. On the other hand, there's really nothing like being in the group. The group setting is just very dynamic. I mean, we all come from different walks of life. We move through incredible resistance together, and then we all do some incredible breakthroughs. Most people, this is interesting, most people who join the teacher training do not want to teach yoga. They're not doing it to teach. They're doing it to just simply enhance the quality of life, to learn more about yoga, because yoga's really touched their life. So again, this is Roman from Inner Strength. I want to thank you so much for being solely responsible for making Inner Strength stand out. A lot of you give my team and I compliments all the time. You really let us know what a great job we're doing, and my team and I want to let you know what a great job that you're doing. So let me know if you guys would like to join the 4 pillars. If not, keep your eyes open. I'm going to be putting these little videos together for you guys, and thanks again. We'll see you in the studio. Bye-bye.